Hey guys, Sri Lankan Sammi in Cebu. When you get this video, I'm probably gonna be there. So today I'm filming it. It's 1 week away till I leave. I'm so excited. But I'm gonna talk to you today about, is Southeast Asia really family friendly for younger families? Okay. A lot of people say Southeast Asia is great for retirement. That's why you're here. That's why you're talking to me. But I do have a few subscribers who are of the younger persuasion. So what happens if you do have kids? Is it still a smart move? Or does family life change the whole equation? That is what I want to talk to you about today, because toddlers are one thing, school-age children are another. Once schools, healthcare, housing, safety, and routine enter the picture, this stops being cheap and becomes a serious family decision. Let's talk about that right after this. Hey, I'm Sri Lankan Sammi. Let's talk about life after 50. Real talk, no BS. How I went from Canada via South Korea to now chasing my forever home in Southeast Asia. Join me for this next chapter. Hey guys, welcome to the show. Welcome to my channel. I'm Sri Lankan Sammi in Cebu. I am a Canadian Sri Lankan citizen living in Sri Lanka, retired in Cebu, working online in South Korea. And today we're going to talk about something that has been requested of me, and I want to thank everybody for joining, watching, liking, commenting on my channel. And I have a quick question for you. Would you move to Southeast Asia with toddlers or school-age children? Or is that a deal breaker for you, or is that stopping you? Comment below, let me know what you think. So I have a few subscribers. Adriana in Czech is one of them, and she is a very good supporter. I truly appreciate your support. But she has school-age children, and she does travel with her school-age children, and she tells me stories all the time about how wonderful of an experience it is. But because I don't have kids, never had kids, don't want kids, never been around any children that are my responsibility. Now, I'm a teacher, but I'm an online teacher for the last 6 years, and prior to that, you know, I was kindergarten teacher or middle school teacher. It wasn't really, you know, they weren't my responsibility. I was just a part-time teacher. So anyway, I don't have this desire or knowledge or even education, research background to be able to tell you what is good for kids, because I've never looked at it because I have no need to. It is hot. It is 12 noon on Friday. I'm 1 week away from traveling back to Cebu, and I have to get my 15,000 steps in. So I figure what better way to do it but hot walking and get out some content, and as well get my vitamin D. I want to thank MCB for commenting a lot on my health on the last video. Guys, tell me what you think of the new thumbnails. I'm utilizing the company I'm working with to provide me better thumbnails, because thumbnails are important. Tell me what you think. What do you like? Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. So, toddlers versus school-age children. Now, again, this is my personal opinion, not from being a parent, but just from being a teacher and observing. Toddlers would be a lot easier because you could spend time with them doing fun activities. Beach, biking, hiking, exploring, things like that. You can expose them to life in Southeast Asia. Safaris. You can even delay the start of school by homeschooling them for the first couple of years. But I think children need socializing. I think that's very important. They need to socialize with other kids. They don't. I've met a lot of Sri Lankan kids, like the one right across the street from my house, who is deadly scared of people. because she's never been socialized. She doesn't speak to anyone, she won't talk to anyone, and if you look at her, she'll run away. It's really sad. Psychologically, that kid's gonna grow up really with a lot of problems. And she's probably 8 or 9 years old. Will not talk to anyone. It's very, very sad. So toddlers versus school-age children. Toddlers are very easy. School-age children is a different story. Once you get them acclimated, once you get them set up, once you get them involved, once you get them friends, they're like a sponge. You just let them go and they will live life. I'm a perfect example. I grew up as a toddler in 3 different countries. I was born in China, Beijing, and I lived there for 4 years. My parents let me run around. I ended up learning fluent Mandarin because they let me run around. I went to kindergarten and school in Italy. I spoke fluent Italian. And Mom says I was a devil. I kept running around talking to everybody. I guess I was a little bit of a social butterfly even back then. Now when I moved to Canada, because that's when my memories start, when I was 6 or 7, I remember having a wonderful time and lots of friends. So, school-age children, it's very easy if you give them rope to go out on their own. If you shelter them, forget about it. I mean, I have a bachelor degree in sociology, a master's degree in psychology, albeit not child psychology, but come on. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that if you don't socialize a human being when they're young, they're not going to learn how to socialize when they're older. And they'll have that fear or that shyness or that trepidation. International school reality. Now, I've worked at international schools, and I'll tell you this right now. They are expensive and not worth the investment. I'll tell you right now. It's my personal opinion. Okay, I've worked at international schools in Korea. I've seen international schools here, and I've seen international schools in the Philippines. And I'll tell you one thing. If you're rich and you can afford it, go right ahead. But it's not worth it in my opinion. If your child is traveling with you, give them the experience of going to school with the locals. If you're going to live long term, like years, then have them go to school with the locals, not with the expats, because the expats move around. Now, if you're moving around, then that's great. If you can afford it, then that's great. But it is ridiculously expensive. The international school at Mactan Newtown, I don't remember what it cost, but I remember it cost a hell of a lot. Nothing that I would ever pay for if I had a child, considering that the public school system is free. Healthcare. Healthcare and emergencies. If you are traveling, you're not a citizen, you're probably a tourist, then you need long-term health care, especially because children get hurt, they fall down, they break their arm, they break their leg, they get sick, they need vaccinations, they need dental work, they need glasses, they need everything. More so at until they hit puberty, children go to the hospital a lot. So you need to manage that. You need health care. You need to know where the hospitals are. You need to live near a hospital zone. You can't live in the countryside. You can, but you need to take that risk. Family-friendly space. Now, I'm not stereotyping or judging, but if you're a modern person, you want modern convenience. That's your lifestyle, and you want to pass that on to your children. If you are the quote-unquote hippie lifestyle, then you want to pass that down to your kids as well, because that's your lifestyle. That's your choice. I'm not telling you one way or another. I'm just saying you need to find that space. So, having a child or a toddler, you need to find family-friendly areas. You need to find safe areas. You're not going to live in the countryside where your kids can fall down in a well or in a field or in a river and get swept away. Constantly hearing stories here in Sri Lanka where kids are getting washed away by waves in the ocean. The ocean here is not a safe place, especially in Negombo. You do not, in the decades that I have been coming to Sri Lanka on vacation, the 6 years that I've lived here, and all the times I've been to Negombo, I think only once have I ever gone in the ocean in Negombo, past my knees. I mean, I put my foot in the water, but that's about it, because the ocean there is ridiculously violent. The only places I've ever gone deep into the ocean is in the southern coast, Mirisa, and in the north, Passaguda and Jaffna. Otherwise, no. It's too dangerous. Even Aragon Bay is dangerous because of the waves. So you have to have a safe place. Hey guys, Sri Lankan Sammi here. Thank you for watching the video. If you like what you're seeing, please think about subscribing and liking. Also, to help the channel get out in front of other people just like you, if you could, comment. That will help the algorithm get it out there. And hit that bell icon so that you know when the next video is dropping. I truly appreciate that. If you want to sponsor me, scan the QR code right here, or click the link down below, buy me a coconut. Or if you are interested in life coaching, I offer that right here. Scan this QR code or click the link down below. I'm Sri Lankan Sammi. Retire in Southeast Asia. We'll see you all on the other side. Walkability and daily convenience. If you are living in the countryside, in the remote rural area, how are you providing for your family? Your family needs milk, bread, cereal. If your kids are picky eaters, you have to take that all into account. And Southeast Asia is not one of the more convenient places, let me tell you, to be able to get the things that you need, let alone for someone who's a picky eater or picky about certain things, or requires, going back to the medical stuff, if your kid has asthma, allergies, whatever, simple childhood diseases or afflictions, allergies, how are you going to, provide for that? I am a big, huge proponent of language learning. And as a young child, I spoke 4 or 5 languages by the age of 6. In my life, I've spoken 9 languages. I can currently speak about 4 or 5 fluently. Am I going to learn Tagalog or Basay? Probably not, because Philippines speaks fluent English everywhere. Even in the remoter areas, they still speak English. Most people. So, as I understand it, it's only in the south, the far, far deep south, where they don't really speak English or speak English well. Gosh, it's hot. But we're supposed to be getting a lot of rain starting today. Rainy season is starting. Not here, as you can tell. And I think the biggest issue that people will have is that they will blow their budget on education. And here's the problem, is that families, parents are huge on education. And when it comes to your kids' education and their kids' health, you're willing to sacrifice for that. But how much? Now, and is it worth it? You know, you can spend all your money on education for your child and then pulls up, stops, looks at me, and then drives away. It's like, what the hell? The looks I get from Sri Lankans when I'm vlogging is so different from the looks I get from Filipinos. Filipinos know exactly what I'm doing. Sri Lankans are looking at me like I'm an alien from outer space. It's so weird. Because I guess, I mean, I've noticed that there are no Sri Lankan vloggers. There are none. I've searched. There's a few. Not like as many as Filipino expat vloggers. So budget blowout on schooling is one of the big issues that I have read about, where families go in with a budget and then realize it's not enough, that they need to spend more. Because not only do you have the education, but then you have the extracurricular activities. You have the field trips, you have the uniforms, you have the books, you have the days out, you have the play dates, you have all of those stuff. It all costs money. Safety and traffic stress. The other thing that you have to have, if you're living in Southeast Asia, you have to have reliable transportation for your kids to get to and from school, which means either a tuk-tuk or a car. There's an added cost. Or you have to walk your kids every day because the roads are not safe. So, city versus beach versus mountain life for your kids. Me, personally, if I were to have kids today, toddlers who are getting ready to start school, I would live on the beach. I would live on a remote beach. Maybe Cebu, but definitely somewhere remote, quiet, and safe, where my kids could learn to swim, respect the ocean, nature, and live a peaceful, stress-free life. I would homeschool them for a little while, but I would send them to public school. I have opinions about education, which I'll talk about later, but in a roundabout way, you don't need an education anymore. These days, an education is, I believe, a college degree is a scam. Unless you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, something like that where you require an education, no. You can self-educate, become an engineer, a computer specialist. Today's education is not going to be needed in 20 years. When they graduate, they don't need to learn hypotenuse theorem. They don't need to learn that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cells. Come on, I've never used that, but I had to study that in high school. A plus B squared equals C squared. I've never used that in my entire life. And here's the beautiful thing. Nobody needs to use it because we have computers today that can calculate all that stuff. We don't even need to learn coding anymore because they have vibe coding. AI does it all. What we need is AI engineers. We need physical people to physically do the science, the math, and then the physical construction. So you need people who can build air conditioning systems, HVAC system. You need people who can build electronics, repair electronics. Those are the jobs that are required in 20 years, not literature. What are these liberal arts degrees? I don't understand them. I've seen them on TikTok and YouTube and stuff, and I'm like, what the hell are you going to do? Archaeology, literature, sciences. I'm like, come on. That degree is worthless. I don't know what kind of job you could get. It is, I mean, I'm not disrespecting people for getting an education, but come on, think about it. You know, school gives you this. Kids these days, people in general, are irrational. They think with their heart, not with their minds. And that's the thing, we're older. We know because we have experience. We know what's wrong with the world. But nobody's going to listen to us. I hope you don't listen to me, because I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. So the final point is the lifestyle dream versus the family reality. And this is where a lot of people get caught up. You can see how hot it is, because I'm also walking fast, trying to work up a sweat. So please excuse me for that. I'm gonna go home, have a nice soda water, and shower, and then relax. I'm actually thinking of buying a soda water maker when I get to Cebu. It's $200, but with the amount of soda water that I like to consume, I did the calculation using ChatGPT, and in about 3 to 6 months, I make my money back, as opposed to buying the individual little 350 milliliter plastic bottles. And I don't have to recycle anything. I don't have to take anything to the garbage. I don't have to carry anything upstairs. I don't have to order these things. So it's a heck of a lot better for me, I think. It's just that capital outlay. Anyway, the final reality check is, yes, parts of Southeast Asia are family friendly for young children, but the answer depends far more on your school budget and city choice rather than the region itself. Kuala Lumpur looks strong on value because listed international school fees currently run cheap compared to other countries, and depending on the school and level, while premium options are also within most families' budgets. Bangkok has a deep school market too, but premium schooling is expensive, as well as housing. Cebu can work if you want English as the main language and island lifestyle. But schooling is not cheap. International schools here run on the high end. This means toddlers are usually the easier part. Once children hit school age, the whole conversation shifts to schooling quality. I'm not saying schooling is not important, but what I'm saying is most parents believe, because that's what we were taught, that schooling is important. I don't, but that's up to you, okay? The whole conversation shifts to the schooling quality, commute, healthcare access, and whether you want family city-based or beach lifestyle. So many families choose Malaysia, Bangkok, to make more practical sense than pure island living. While Cebu makes more sense if English familiarity is important and a softer island lifestyle than having the deepest school options. So in closing, I'm going to say this to you all. The decision is a personal one. Southeast Asia can absolutely work for young families, but only if you stop thinking like a tourist and start thinking like a parent. Guys, I'm Sri Lankan Sammi. Sammi in Cebu telling you, please learn to live life. Don't let life live you. Be good to each other. Be kind. Be supportive. Be helpful. Be happy. And remember, we're not strangers. We're just friends who haven't met yet. We'll see you all on the other side.